So imagine medical progress just kind of hitting a brick wall. That's the potential fallout we're diving into today.
Yeah, it's serious stuff.
We're looking at a YouTube video from the Ring of Fire, and it's highlighting this really concerning halt in funding, specifically for the National Institutes of Health, the NIH.
Right. And not just any funding, but the money for the very first step in getting research grants approved, the peer review part.
Exactly. So our mission here is pretty straightforward. Figure out what this funding freeze actually means for medical breakthroughs in the U.S., based on what this video is reporting.
Okay. So what's fascinating to understand, like right off the bat, is this whole NIH peer review system. The video explains it pretty well.
How does it work, basically?
Well, scientists, all over the country, they're constantly working on ideas, tackling big stuff, cancer treatments, maybe finding ways to eradicate HIV, even like a cure for the common cold.
Ambitious projects.
Totally. So they write up these really detailed proposals explaining their research plan and send them off to the NIH hoping to get funding.
Okay, so the NIH doesn't just hand out cash to everyone who asks. There's a filter, a vetting process.
Exactly. The video talks about these panels. About 24 scientists on each one, roughly.
And what do these panels do? Experts in the field, I assume.
Yeah, experts. They dig into each proposal. They're looking for the really promising stuff, the projects that seem most likely to actually lead somewhere, make a real difference.
Makes sense.
Those are the ones they recommend for federal dollars. And just as importantly, they also have to say no to the ideas that seem less likely to pan out, sort of gatekeepers for quality.
Right, ensuring the money goes where it can do the most good. But here's where it gets really concerning, according to the source material. The video is stating that the federal government, acting on a day one executive order from Donald Trump, has actually stopped paying for this entire peer review process.
Stop the funding completely.
That's what the video claims. So what's the immediate effect when that funding tap gets turned off?
Well, the immediate impact, based on the video, is pretty stark. No new federal grants are being approved or issued for this kind of vital medical research anywhere in the U.S.
Because the review can't happen.
Exactly. If you don't fund the review process, the panels can't meet, they can't evaluate, and so there's no mechanism to decide which research actually deserves the funding. It just stops.
Wow. Okay, but the video then brings up this legal angle. Apparently a federal judge stepped in.
Yeah, it mentions that. Twice, actually. A judge ordered a pause on halting the funding.
So, hold on. If a judge ordered the funding not to be halted, then legally, the money for the reviews and for the grants that should be getting approved should still be flowing, right?
That's a crucial point the video makes. It presents this continued halt in funding as a direct violation of those court orders.
So the implication is a disregard for the court's decision.
That's how the source frames it, yeah. Like the legal attempt to keep this essential scientific process moving is being ignored.
Okay, so if this situation drags on, what are the longer-term consequences? What about those breakthroughs we mentioned?
The video really emphasizes the danger of just massive backlogs building up. This peer review thing, it takes time, even normally. Weeks, maybe longer.
Right.
If the whole system is stalled, those weeks easily become months. And the video argues that this delay could set U.S. medical research back significantly, potentially, they say, for years.
Years. That's a huge delay to think about. Imagine promising work on antibiotic resistance just sitting on a shelf somewhere.
It's a sobering thought. And the video stresses this isn't, a partisan issue. They include this quote, "Red states will suffer, blue states will suffer, Republicans, Democrats, it doesn't matter your political affiliate at this point."
That really hits home. Diseases don't check voter registration, do they?
Not at all. A delay in finding a better cancer treatment or a new vaccine affects absolutely everyone. It doesn't matter where you live or who you voted for.
The video also touches briefly on why this might be happening. What perspective does it offer on the motivation behind this?
It suggests, or frames it as, potential indifference from the administration towards the suffering this could cause, almost like it's viewed as a game, maybe, with no real personal downside for the decision makers.
That's a strong claim from the source.
It is, but putting aside the speculation on motivation, the core issue presented remains this potential disruption to a really vital pipeline for medical progress and what that can mean for everyone's health.
Right. So let's try to bring it all together then. Based purely on this Ring of Fire video that we've looked at, we're seeing a situation where the funding for the crucial first step, The peer review of NIH medical research grants has been halted. And this is apparently happening despite court orders saying it shouldn't be.
Yes, that's the picture painted.
And the video presents this as a serious roadblock, a major impediment to medical progress in the U.S., with potentially really long-lasting negative effects.
Exactly. And considering just the information presented in this source, it really leaves you with a significant question, doesn't it?
Which is?
Well, thinking about those potential delays, what crucial medical discoveries, the treatments and preventions we might need tomorrow, might be pushed back indefinitely or maybe even lost completely because of this disruption right at the start of the funding process.
Yeah.
It really underscores just how critical that consistent support, that steady funding is for driving science and medicine forward. Something to really think about.